Okay, we're doing a decking job here, Can Do Services, and this is what we've done so far. It's taking about 15 minutes, 12 minutes of decking plank. So all the structure is done underneath, the roof underneath this, which also had its own wooden structure. Now we're laying these, and we've found some seriously curved, and I'm going to just turn the camera slightly. That is the amount of curvature in this particular plank. So what I want to show is how we pull that back into line. So my man Simpro over there, he's going to drill the next two holes. So we've secured these two in over here. The first two, got it nice and straight with the plumb line, which is down here. Got them in nice and straight, and now we go to the next one with our spacer. Okay, you can go for it. So we drilled the countersink holes for the screws. Now we just put our spacer in, and push that first one in. That spacer allows the line further down to remain at its correct gap, and position those screws there, and then just pull it in from this side. Now this is the easy part. It gets a little bit more difficult as we move up the line. Okay, countersink. Okay, so we've countersunk our next two, and you can go for it. Simpra's countersunk it and drilled it, and now you'll see the gap wide over here, narrow down there. Now we start pulling it in with a clamp, using a bracket from underneath. Push through. The bracket goes in this direction so that it sits underneath this plank here and pushes against the bottom of the plank in that direction. So now tightening up the cramp and checking spacer, we get to pull that in and then put the next two screws. Once those next two screws are in, that gap is set. And you can see down here now the gap is closed up quite nicely, and as we move down the gap closes up. So this is really to show how you use your clamp or cramp to and a bracket or something similar, L bracket like this, to pull your plank in. So we're going to do it again, probably down here. Spacer in place. It's a 5mm gap we're using. Get a start on the screws. And we're not using the clamp at this stage. There's no need to, because the gap is fairly small now. Just a pointer if you need to widen the gap. Just a pry bar. This nice spring steel pry bar goes into the gap, and it widens the gap out. So once you're in position and your gap is starting to get too narrow, pry bar in, move it out, put your next lot of screws in, and away you go. That's it. And that's it. Gap closed up. Nice straight line all the way down. Sorry if this video is kind of swinging around in different directions for you viewers. But what was a big V gap is now a straight line.